on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen. Make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up. Break you in, then break you out. In the end, we're gonna make it.
Hi, everyone. We are back in studio for another episode, another edition of All Time High. Deanna, how are things going?
Things are great. Thank you for asking.
So I'm kind of in a bad mood now, Deanna. I really am. This morning I wake up, CNBC's got Gary Gensler on.
Ugh, Jesus, say no more. That's how you started your day.
I know. And then we're doing an episode, so I'm thinking, okay, we need to find something valuable out of this, some extract. And I found some extract. Do you want me to jump right into it, or did you happen to see it?
No, let's jump right into it. I want to see.
All right. So he talked about a lot of things, including the T+1 settlement. He spins things so historically, but let's go ahead and take a listen to this one. It's going to be about artificial intelligence. And I know we talk about blockchain and cryptocurrency the most, but AI has some impact here. And you get a sense of how he thinks about AI, and it scares the hell out of me in terms of how he will consequently, how he actually thinks about blockchain and crypto. Here we go.
Yeah, let's hear it.
The thing is that you are very worried about AI and the power of it. And
I think that artificial intelligence is the most transformative technology of our time. And I talk about the 1920s, then it was the automobile.
I got to stop right there. Did you see how annoying it was? Like, he's pointing to the camera as the red light comes on. He's going to talk to you, the American people. I mean, come on. Stop it.
Because he cares so much.
Stop it. He's going to protect you, the investor. I mean, it's like that Uncle Sam.
The electrification of the whole economy. But now we're taking human decision-making and more putting it in the box, in the algorithm. So I think that's transformative. It's a good thing for capital markets, but it also raises real risks of conflicts. What if the algorithm is, in essence, trading against you? Risk of fraud. What if the algorithm is trying to defraud you?
I mean, he's talking about risk and defraud. Like, are the hedgies not risking? Are the hedgies not defrauding? Are the hedgies not moving the market?
It's legal when they do it. It's not legal when we do it.
Did you catch the whole roaring kitty stuff?
In the beginning?
Well, no. Recently, he's kind of come back to life, and he had millions of dollars on a call option that he announced on a Friday afternoon after the market had closed, and things started happening after hours. And there was a lot of activity, and nothing about what he's done is by the books illegal, but it's making the hedgies uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's, they play by different rules. That's all I can say. The rules for thee, not for me kind of a mentality. To me, what he said is pretty fascinating, right? Because he's like, you're teaching AI to think.
Yes.
What happens if it's betting against you? What happens if it's trying to trick you? And it's like, well, who wrote that program? Like, don't use a program that's betting against you. Don't use a program that's trying to trick you. Like, people just have this weird assumption that you create AI and then it's an ever evolving, like it just continually makes itself. And that's not how AI works at all. And so, when he says things like that, I think it's very confusing to the people because I'm not sure where that would be a reality. And unless he could give me a specific use case and what he's talking about, I don't understand that perspective.
Well, I think he does it not only with AI, he does it with technology. And what he seeks to do, in my opinion, is keep the incumbent. And whether that's a political candidate, of which he's very savvy, has worked at the highest levels. Yeah. He hasn't quite made it through, but also on the banking front, having worked at Goldman Sachs, he's very aware of what the banks think, feel, and do. And so as he creates fear amongst the investors that he's here to protect, and that's fair. I don't think he's completely out of bounds, which is what makes him very dangerous. But the things that helped make America, get to the level that it was in the 90s under Clinton, right? Where the internet was invented and they made a regulatory framework that was favorable to the developments that occurred in Silicon Valley and throughout the US and that have helped us to lead the world. Those kind of structures are not coming together under old Gary. He's a little bit more of a fear monger.
Yeah, a little bit, right? I mean, but fear is a powerful motivator. I mean, it's, fear and greed. That's our index, and people
That
feed off of it. And it seems to be what revolves around money and technology. I just wish he was a little more, I don't know, like like you said, fear mongering. There's a lot to be excited about for AI, and AI is a very revolutionary technology. And honestly, if you embrace it, it can make so many things in your life easier. Will we have problems in the future potentially? And are there people working together in a coalition to make sure that AI is treated in a respectful way and that bad AI isn't made? Yes. I mean, but it's like any technology, you're going to have bad actors out there. I just don't understand, like, how, in what instance do you buy AI that's trading against you, right? Like, you're going to get a demo from the company. You're going to use you can ask to see the code. You can ask to see the source code. A lot of it is open source code. So again, it's a confusing, to me, I feel like using AI to trade crypto is genius, right? Like, you can make a program. You could be like, this is what arbitrage is made of. You say this exchange is selling Bitcoin at 65, but this one's selling it at 72. So I could buy it over here at 65, flip it at 72 and make a profit. And that's essentially all arbitrage is you're comparing it from
For
one
sure.
selling point to another. So if you could get an AI program written to where you're finding those flashpoints, like it's searching all of these different ones simultaneously and then understanding when to trigger that, to me, that's a no-brainer. That's genius. And I'm sure that's what they're using in stocks right now.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
sure
I
that's
think
exactly what they're doing.
that's happening right now. And I'll also say that AI is coming for the financial analysts. I mean, there's no way that somebody recently out of school can keep up with the ability of AI to compute PDF files or
Yeah.
gather summary documents from a 70-page SEC filing. Now, the human condition is very relevant presently because you get to validate, you get to interpret, because the AI may or may not have caught up to some of the nuance.
Yeah.
But in terms of, and this is where the senior analyst, right? The junior analyst, financial analyst is one thing. The senior analyst is another thing, because not because of age, but just because of the human condition, they're going to have to sleep. And when that happens, AI is still cranking and running those reports, right? And if you can process at the speed of which they do, 30 seconds for a 70-page report, and all of a sudden you've got all the feedback and somebody's sleeping for 8 hours, again, the human condition, well, that's a lot of work. I mean, that's a lot of detail, a lot of insight. Like,
But you think about that for a second, though, what you were saying, you still need that human to verify the information that AI gives. So it's not perfect. It'll get you 70 to 80% of the way there, but
agreed.
that human has to get you that last 10 to 20%, period.
Yeah, I just think there'll be fewer financial analysts that'll be needed. And then as things evolve, like there's plenty of programs out there you can build your own. People have written them for you that this particular RSI, this MACD, this divergence is going to trigger this activity and it's going to sell it at the bottom of the red candle. Buy it at the bottom of the red candle and sell it at the highest high of the green candle. And it knows exactly when these things are going to turn. And it may or may not. But the idea that it could get better at this faster than you could as a human is pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing stuff. And so you say, okay, so in your instance, let's say AI does replace that analyst. And I do think, like, computer coding, I think AI is going to replace computer coders. In fact, my son, who was doing computer coding, I'm like, you should learn ML now, because machine learning is going to be the next thing that comes from computer coding. But then, so as one job goes away, another job comes out, right? Because then you need people to run the AI. You need people to work for the AI company who's doing it. So to me, it's like a 1-for-1. It's not like AI comes out, erases all these jobs, and then all of a sudden there's no replacement for it. And actually, it fits kind of well in the model of, we're running an issue in the US where people don't want to work. So all the jobs that are crappy, nobody wants to do them. And maybe AI will move people back into, I'm just kidding. I hope not. I hope you guys don't end up with crappy jobs. That's not what.
No, we don't want that. Look, my favorite analogy right now about that particular topic is that the calculator did not put accountants out of business. Now, the accountants that refused to use the calculator didn't fare so well. But use the calculator when you can and use the AI as leverage like you would with a calculator. It isn't that you couldn't do it long form. It's that on occasion you don't need to. You just need to verify that somebody didn't accidentally put an extra zero in it, or that the logic in the algorithm that was programmed by a human wasn't inadvertently pre-programmed to do dastardly deeds. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I didn't think I'd get that word in today, but I did. So I'm excited.
Yay. Check for you.
Check for me. I've got another check for us to check out. It's Gary.
Hopefully it's got a bunch of zeros on it.
No, he's not sending checks to the crypto community. He's incurring large amounts of legal fees. And then the judicial system is saying that he's arbitrary and capricious. Let's listen to one of the arbitrary, and you got to love and hate Kramer. There's a Kramer inverse fund. So I'm almost like, as he says all of these crypto coins here in a second, I'm going to go, okay, don't invest in that one. Don't invest in that one. Don't invest in that one. Not financial advice. Do your own research. But it seems like whatever crypto is advocated for by Kramer goes the opposite direction. Whenever he down talks a crypto, it takes off. So he's being sent with messaging. Check out his messaging.
Happened in the past.
Okay, now, Polkadot, Cordana, Cosmos, Immutable, Ronin, Bonk, Osmosis, Sushi Swap,
that's like 5 or 6. Bonk, Sushi Swap. Come on, man.
neighbor Alice have all traded millions.
Here, let me back that up. Listen to what he says. He references this as his neighbor Alice.
Okay.
Historically, that has happened in the past.
Okay, now, Polkadot, Cordana, Cosmos, Immutable, Ronin, Bonk, Osmosis, Sushi Swap, my neighbor Alice have all traded millions. I'm talking about millions of dollars this very morning. Now, should we have a Sushi Swap, maybe an ETF, or the proprietary kind? Just say, I would think that Bonk is a natural, and Osmosis, these are trading millions. Yeah, these are millions of dollars. These things are traded. Shouldn't we have it? Shouldn't we have some sort of product?
Let me say something more broadly about the crypto markets. Right now, without prejudging anyone, these tokens, whether they're the ones Jim listed or other tokens, have not given you the disclosures that you not only need to make your investment decisions, but also that are required by the law.
How does he know? How does he know that? Did he go and search all of those coins to make sure they had not given the financial disclosure? Like, what an interesting statement to make.
What,
you know what
quite
I mean?
The opening statement. And I don't think that stuff's coincidental. Words mean things.
Of course not.
Yeah.
No, and here, so this is my ever-going frustration, right? I don't understand the gap between the bottom 20 or bottom 80, top 20. And that gap keeps getting bigger, and it has since the 80s, right? And I think a big part of that has to do with the stock market, has to do with what people are allowed to invest in. So they say if you don't make a certain amount of money, you're not a savvy investor. You cannot invest in these bigger things that have bigger rates of return for money. They'll let you pedal around, with Fidelity or what, if you have a Roth IRA or an RRA, you could put some money market account, or, if you go over with, I'm not going to think of it, but like one of the easier stock things, you could kind of get in there and you could get, but these are after the stocks have, they've gone IPO, they've made a ton of money, and now they're public, and now maybe you can buy in a little bit. But the real money is made before that point, and normal people can't invest in that. Cryptocurrency is an opportunity. This is not financial advice. It is an opportunity for normal people to invest and see returns that only the wealthy get to enjoy. And I think it's crap that they keep trying to stifle it. It just doesn't need to be.
Well, and as you listen to that list, I think there was some legit layer 2 interoperability. I think, not to mention specifically, but Bonk, I'm going to mention specifically, is a meme coin. And there were 4 or 5. Osmosis, I think, has some utility. I don't know everything about every coin that they mentioned, that he mentioned. But as he ran through that list, I thought, what is this? Like a Wells notice letting those companies know that you're on watch with the SEC now? And so I don't know what happened to their market cap today. I'd be shocked if it went up. But that was kind of a little bit of a hit piece. Like, oh, if you're the SEC, and better yet, if you're one of the employees at the SEC, the myriad of lawyers that are in this division, is that now your attack plan for this quarter? Yeah. And so it made me just like throw up in my mouth a little bit. And I feel personally like he has to be the most hated. Well, I mean, name some people you hate in crypto. Like, who do we hate in crypto?
Gary Gensler. Like top,
is he top of the list?
Can't stand the guy. Nope.
Are there other hated people?
You're too wishy-washy. Pick a side and stick to it. You're here, you're not. You're in, you're not. You're Guys are trying to play by the rules. You're still punishing them. Guys who aren't playing by the rules, they get off scot easy. Like be consistent. Take your stance, be consistent, and stop wishy-washy.
Stop the wishy-washy. Well, I want to know this. Who are some of the most hated people in crypto right now? Let's put Gary Gensler at the top of the list. Give me a couple more that you know.
By the people or by the government? Like who hates him?
I don't know. That the crypto community dislikes largely.
Oh, who does it? Well, pretty much any government agency. So take your pick.
Is Elizabeth Warren fair in that regard? She created an anti-crypto army.
Who is it?
Elizabeth Warren, senator from Massachusetts.
Well, let's hope that she gets booted out this year, right? We've got that very crypto-friendly guy running for her job, and let's hope that she gets booted out. But yeah, we don't like
John Deaton, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. So I put her in the top 5. Do you have anybody else that we say? Where does Sam Bankman-Fried fit in our list of?
Yeah, no, he's definitely up there. He's definitely, because he gave us all a bad name. We're like, you came out of nowhere, you blew up the entire industry, and you gave us all a bad name. And yet you were somehow the poster child of the government. Blows my mind, but okay.
Yeah, strange bedfellows for sure. So do we have 2 more, or those kind of sit atop in their own unique level?
Well, then could you, if you said Sam Bankman-Fried, could you go with his girlfriend, what is it, Ellison?
Caroline?
Yeah, Caroline Ellison. She'd probably be up there. Well,
yeah,
if you're
I don't know if
hated.
There's
a lot of like, Mount Gox. That was a whole thing. Like those people, the people who bring bad names to the industry, nobody likes those people.
Okay. So here's the opposite side of this coin. And I struggle with this because our purpose with this podcast, it's not even a job. It's a labor of love for both of us. Right. They're not financial advice. This is, we're growing our subscribers. We're getting the watches. We're getting the likes. In fact, you should do that right now if you get a chance. Right there. Just hit the subscribe button. Share it with other people. There isn't somebody universally that we can say, although I do have one person who I think is the most beloved person in crypto, but I want to see if you can come up with somebody that we believe is in it for the greater good.
Yeah. Satoshi.
Yeah.
There you go.
That was mine.
Number 1. Was that yours?
Yeah. But that's like that's the imaginary friend that we wish we all had. It's the you know what I mean? It's like the code runs the program. We don't know who that is.
Nope.
And I think that's part of the problem in making the space more attractive to more people is it's easy to identify all the enemies, all the villains, but who are the good guys?
Yeah. Well, I feel like the good guys in the industry, the majority of the people wouldn't know them because they were moving the industry forward. So they had their head down in business, trying to be, I would say Roger Ver, like, he's hit or miss if you love him or hate him, right? But look at now, he's in jail for tax. It just, they call him what? Bitcoin Jesus. And Bitcoin Cash became because of the Bitcoin split. He was on the Bitcoin board, and then they had an argument over the size of the blocks when it got too big and the process time was too long. So they had a meeting and said, okay, how do we change this in order to accommodate it? And Satoshi had actually annotated in the white paper that you change the block size from 1 megabyte to 2 megabyte. And sorry for you people who aren't tracking, I'm nerding out a little bit on some of this. But when Bitcoin hits 2 megabytes, that concludes a block, and then that transaction goes forward. So they had the big fight, and then Roger Ver actually hard forked Bitcoin to do his solution, and then the rest of Bitcoin did the regular solution. And you had Bitcoin Cash come from that. And actually, for anybody who was around for that, when Bitcoin split, you had both Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash of equal value.
Pretty big deal. When was that? Nice. Do you know?
Yeah, it's if you're with an organic chain that ends up splitting, you end up with both.
No, I get it, but how many years ago did that transpire for new people to the space? Directionally, you don't have to be specific.
2019-ish.
Okay.
Yeah, 2018, 2019. So a lot of people probably weren't around for that. So hopefully some of you were, but it was fantastic because you opened your wallet and you were like, hey, I've got twice the value right now. Yeah. So he was on the pedestal. He was one of the proponents. Everybody loved Roger Ver. Now he's in jail. So,
probably not a good candidate for being likable. So here's the challenge I'm going to issue to you today. We need to find somebody more likable in the space that can be and serve as a champion for all the potential energy that we have here. Turn it into kinetic energy and help activate the people, help engage everyone, and help them participate in the financial future that is so unavoidable that I can't help but participate. That's where I'm at. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if Trump releases Russ Ulbricht, it'd probably be him soon, but you love him or hate him. I actually, you know, as we're talking about this for the users out there.
Can I push back on that?
Sure.
I'm not arguing with you. You know me better than that. I think we need somebody who maybe hasn't served jail time as being the more likable kind of person that we want to say, this is maybe the way we could go, or that people would more, you know, I don't know, maybe that gives more credibility in the OG space, but I'm not worried about the first 30 million people that are in, because they're there. Yeah. I'm trying to get us our next 70 million. And who are the people out there? And here's the challenge. I want to see who you can get on this podcast. I'm going to see who I can get on this podcast to help us get not the next $70 million, but the next 70 million people. Because once this space gets to 100 million people, it's game over. Like all this political maneuvering, all this legal wrangling, it's over. So who are those people? Sign up. I'm going to put a link below. Reach out to Deanna, reach out to me, and we'll get you on the pod because we want to hear what you have to say.
Or for you guys watching, drop who you think we should have on the podcast, or tell us who is the person who got you into crypto. Like, who is that person you idolize in the space? Because I'd love to hear your perspective, and I'd love to get that person on the show.
Yeah, and it could be other podcast influencers. I don't know. We're not here competing with other pods. We're just trying to have our own little place in this space, which is ginormous.
That's right. It's not a competition. It's a collaboration.
There we go. So
that's crypto talk for you.
That is crypto. I am going to go do my homework. I'm going to work on a list, see who I can bring to the table and get on this show.
Maybe we should get Gary Gensler. Oh no, sorry. Too soon.
You make me laugh. You do make me laugh. I don't even know.
He'll be right next to JP Morgan or Jamie Dimon when we get him on.
Last episode we had Smart Jim. This time we have dumbfounded Jim. Doesn't know what to say. I have no words other than to say it's been another great episode of All Time High. Deanna, as always, thank you very much.
Bye everyone. See you next time.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time, watch. I don't know how I got